Good evening. My name is Christine Boutsikaris. I'm being filmed tonight to tell you about the most controversial story in the history of rock and roll. The stealing of James Damiano's songs by Bob Dylan. It's uncontested by Bob Dylan and his law firms, all five, that Bob Dylan and people in Bob Dylan's entourage have solicited songs, music and lyrics written by James Damiano for a period of over 10 years and 11 months. The irony of this situation is the epitome of hypocrisy, whereas while Bob Dylan accepted President Obama's Presidential Medal of Freedom Award, Bob Dylan, was utilizing a federal gag order on plaintiff James Damiano. The gag order related to all discovery materials, including 50 hours of videotaped depositions, expert testimony, and blatant admissions of guilt by Bob Dylan's own witnesses. One would say this situation is reminiscent of communist China. This gag order was granted to Mr. Bob Dylan by Federal District Judge Joel B. Rosen and enforced by Federal District Judge Jerome B. Simandl, who has recently been promoted to Chief District Judge. Dylan's lead attorney is Orrin Snyder of Gibson, Dunn and Crutcher, who represented both President Bush and Obama. He also represented the Federal Reserve. For those of you who believe that this issue is not of any importance to our country and the liberty of our citizens, I'd like to say that I was one of Bob Dylan's biggest fans and followed his career my entire life. After learning of his stealing of James Damiano's songs and the cover-up, I've lost all respect for him as an artist and a human being. Especially after learning that Bob refused to return James Damiano's entire song catalog after the lawsuit, songs that took James over 42 years of his life to write. One that comes to mind is, quote, "Racism, a diversion of reality. That the worst segregation in the world today is not between yellow, red, black, or white men, Muslims, Jews, or Christians, but between the rich and the poor."